What's up and welcome back to the channel. You are listening to Ninja Knight. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads. Check out the links posted in the description down below to support the channel. Consider joining the channel today and make sure you're following me over on Odyssey. It's available on web browser, iOS and soon to be available on Android. Thank you. So what I want to talk about today is the Haslab Marvel Legends Galactus. I think we're looking at a potential failure here with this figure, and I'm going to explain why over this video. Now, as you can see here, you've got 10,361 backers, which is incredible, and they have 28 days left. Their target is 14,000. Now, looking at the live streams that they had previously when they announced this figure and then talked about this figure subsequently then after they had released the images of this figure, it's been an interesting watch from an outside perspective. Now, when I say an outside perspective, it's because of this. I talked about on this channel about the Haslab Unicron and the fact that Hasbro basically did a bait and switch and showed us something that was a prototype for a very long time, that it looked like it was going to be the final product, and by the time it was released then we realised that the maw of Unicron was a completely different colour and the bottom teeth of Unicron's robot mode were a completely different colour, which was way off in my opinion and in the opinion of a lot of other fans out there. So people like myself that paid a very high price to get that figure felt burned. And so, as I said at that point in time, I wouldn't buy into another Haslab product again due to that fact. So this is going to be a knock-on effect. I could have been a backer that was in behind this, and due to the amount of people that viewed that video and the other videos that I did, I'm sure that there was probably people that felt that same way. Because let me tell you this is an interconnected fan base. People that like Transformers will like the likes of Marvel Legends. People that like Marvel Legends will like the likes of Ghostbusters. People that like that will probably like Power Rangers. So when you decide to make a very bad decision and not fix a very big problem with the Haslab Unicron, that's going to be remembered by people like me. So that's why I wouldn't back something like this. Now, what's also hurting this campaign, in my opinion, is the Haslab Sentinel still hasn't been released yet, and anytime that question gets brought up, it's kind of like, well, it might be fall 2022, might be fall 21. It seems kind of odd, and it seems like nobody has a definitive answer. Now, I understand that the last year has had a very big impact on people's shipping procedures and the ability for these companies to get these things out there. I do understand that. However, that's not how an awful lot of other people think. An awful lot of other people think and say to themselves, well, I don't have the scent on it yet, so I can't judge the quality of it. Why would I back this down when I still haven't got the first thing that I backed so long ago? That's one issue that I think is going to be arising with this campaign. And I also think the nature of the way the campaign has decided to roll out, insofar as they thought they were going to make the 14,000 within 24 hours, perhaps even 26 hours. And then when it rolled on then into the week, in my opinion, what you got to see was a little bit of panic. And it seemed like they wanted to drive up the market with this figure, which you can obviously understand, because this is a team that, in my opinion, are probably the best team at Hasbro, because they seem like the most dedicated, they seem like the most interested, and I think that they do good things. However, with the latest reveal that they've put out today, and this is one I want to talk about, they showed this image there last week or the week before. They had the two silhouettes. One was obviously Frankie Ray Nova. As we can see here, it's been revealed as herself. This is a Silver Surfer. I would imagine a pinless version of the Silver Surfer, because as we can see with Frankie Ray, she has pinless joints. So I'd imagine that it's going to be a new Silver Surfer with those pinless joints. Now, she looks nice. She does look good. And a lot of people do want this Herald of Galactus. And I think that this is something that people want. With the Galactus, they want multiple Heralds if they're going to buy this figure. And I think now is the point in time that they perhaps should have been talking to people about, yeah, okay, we're giving you this Herald, this Herald, this Herald, and then maybe we'll do a wave of them. I think this is in trouble, because now they've said that this is 16,000 people are required to get Frankie Ray Nova. So that's just 14,000 is just getting you Galactus. It's not getting you the Frankie Ray Nova. I think a lot of people thought that at 14,000, Frankie Ray Nova was a guaranteed cert. I think a lot of people, even myself, probably thought that the Silver Surfer, along with Frankie Ray Nova, at 14,000 was a guaranteed cert, but it's not. So if Frankie Ray Nova is 16,000, you could probably imagine that Silver Surfer is going to be 18,000. So I think there's going to have to be some real strategic measures being put into place now by Hasbro and Haslab, because I think what's going to happen as a result of this is, and so for people that are out there that are probably not getting what's going to happen with this, they probably have the designs and the models done for all of the heralds that they want to include with this, all of the bits and pieces. and I think that is something that can probably come on later down the line. If it just gets to 14,000, I think that you'll probably just see Galactus, and then later on you'll get the Frankie Ray Nova in a subsequent line, whether it be a 6-figure wave, whether it be an exclusive or something to that degree, because I think that that's what they will do. I mean, they've put an awful lot of R&D into this figure here. I couldn't see them not releasing it. The same with this one over here. The fact that we haven't seen anything else quite yet would definitely ring alarm bells in my opinion. People are talking about an unhelmeted version of Galactus's head. That's a possibility. I think that would look well. But I think the nature of this character is this. The fact that it's a Fantastic Four villain is fantastic, obviously. But when you have the likes of the Sentinel that does have the ability to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even how many people would have bought that, they probably bought quite a couple. Having that then at a fairly low amount of backers, it was always going to be successful. So whoever thought of making this one 14,000 backers, you'd have to be seriously questioning that, because this is a character, whilst yes he is popular, whilst yes it is the greatest, I should say the largest Haslab figure that they've done so far in the Marvel Legends scale, I'm not sure if everyone was going to back this the way they thought it was going to. I know that this is a popular character and a lot of people do tweet out that this is the character that they wanted. I, however, don't think this is what they should have done. You've heard the Haslab team talk about they wanted to do a number of different things. They talked about vehicles. If I was them, it would have been a Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider with the car. Simple. And that's a video I'm going to do myself on what they should have done with that one. It might be a marketing idea for them. I know, me giving them Haslab ideas and marketing ideas when I'm not going to buy another Haslab due to the Unicron fiasco. But hey ho, we might as well talk about things that fans are interested in. So 16,000 backers for this seems a bit rich in my opinion. I think that's really reaching. I think that's perhaps maybe the company lashing out a little bit at the fans because they thought that the fans were going to really pony up for this quickly. I think because the people have been slow out of the gates back in this, I can see it plateauing again. It plateaued at about 8,000, 9,000. I think that that's going to struggle now, I think, to get over the 14,000 line. Will they do something later on down the road insofar as adding in overseas retailers and saying, right, okay, this is definitely going to get made, we're going to sell it to you? It seems like a couple of places are already taking deposits, which would suggest to me that this is already going to be made. It just means that if they want to get it over the 16,000 line, if not, there's rumours that are out there that saying the Unicron figure barely made it to production. That's something I possibly believe in now, given the corners that were cut on that one. And I think a lot of people, like I said earlier on, I think a lot of people are apprehensive because they don't have the Sentinel in hand yet. And I think that that's a very viable reason to be apprehensive about what the quality of these things are like when we already know we've been burned with the Haslab Unicron. Yes, Jabba's sail barge was good. Yes, the Razor Crest looks good, but it blew up nearly instantly then after the fact, and a lot of people felt upset with that one, which is perfectly understandable. But I think that this is something that perhaps could be in trouble. An awful lot of the shield YouTubers that are out there are very much so going to promote this. I think they're going to go into overdrive about this. There's some people that are very confident that this is going to get made. It may as well, and perhaps will get made. But I do think that this has been a very strange campaign, and I think something that maybe the team will learn about. The backers were way too high. I don't think the interest was there for this one. I don't think that was as cool as what something could have been. I think once people are getting a very large figure the last time round, I think maybe should have been something a little bit different, or potentially less backers given what's gone on over the last year. There's some people that are between jobs, there's some people that don't have jobs, there's some people that are struggling for finances at the moment, and I think to put $400 down on this item is a bit strange. I think it should have been a lower scale item, something that was definitely going to sell, keep the Haslab thing churning. And I also think it would have been a very good idea then to say, well, look, we know we made a mistake with Unicron, let's give it all we got with this next one. Instead, it seems like they're just really sticking it to the fans and saying, okay, if you want this Frankie Ray Nova, you're really going to have to pony up and pay for it. I don't know, I can't see this one succeeding personally. If it does, fair play to them, they've done well. And if it succeeds, fair play to you. If you want to collect this, that's absolutely positively up to you. But it's just not for me after what they did with the Haslab Unicron. And I hope that they do talk about that in the future. And I hope that they do understand that that was a knock-on effect from that. That you had a lot of backers that were out there that were like, I'm never backing another Haslab product again, due to what they did with the Transformers Haslab Unicron. I'm one of those people. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that just didn't say anything and just said, well, I won't be back again. There was a huge outcry about the Haslab Unicron. You can obviously tell that I'm very still upset about it. But this is the knock-on effect that you have. You got me then going, well, I'm not spending money on this. And then that's what's going to happen in the future unless something is done about it. And I hope that the company do something about it. But going back on this, I think a lot of people were expecting 14,000 minimum was going to give you two figures along with this one. The fact that they're saying there's more tiers and that the last tier is the coolest, it's certainly going to be interesting to see how they wind up with this one, if it's going to go ahead or if this is going to be a failure. To me, it looked like that the marketing team were a little bit more so, I think, stressed about this one. It seems like that they might have been getting calls from beyond above and telling them, look, need to push this a lot more. And the fact that they've revealed this figure early seems at odds to what they decided to start off with. They said that they didn't want to reveal the tiers, which is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion, because how are people supposed to buy into something when they don't know what the tiers are? It's basic crowdfunding. They've been doing it on other sites like Indiegogo. People tell you what you're going to be getting before you get into it. It's basic stuff, and seeing as how they did this the first time round, I don't understand why they didn't do it this time round. It seems like someone got a little bit too big for their boots, pardon the pun, and seemed to think that this was going to go astronomically well. Now, I do realise that I'm probably not going to get an interview with the Marvel Legends team. I understand that, but I'd rather call it as honestly as possible and just call it for what it is, because like I said, there's a lot of people out there that are going to try and hype this up and say you absolutely must buy this. If this fails, this is going to make them go back to the drawing board and say to themselves, okay, right, that's what we decided to do with this was a very strange move. The Unicron thing definitely has an impact on this one, I think, personally. And I think it's going to have an impact on future Haslab products in the future, no doubt about it. Given the last year, people are keeping their money way closer to themselves. And I think that that's something that they're going to have to look at going forward. That's just reality. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads. Make sure you check out the links in the description down below to support the channel. Join the channel if you'd like to also. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this. Have you purchased into this Haslab Galactus? Are you hoping that it gets funded, or do you see the reasons that I'm giving throughout this video and why? I don't know. I'm not quite as confident as some other people are of this getting funded. What do you also think as well too with this? It seems like a bit of a switcheroo between 14,000 and tiers being unlocked to now 16,000 and tiers being unlocked. Do you think that's perhaps maybe a bit of a message to the fans and saying that they're unhappy with how slow this has proceeded? Or do you think that that's something else? Is it got to do with something else? What do you think the other unlocks could be at the tier levels? Is maybe another 2 or 3? I think they have to be putting all of the heralds into the next tier unlock. I think that just seems like sensible stuff. But also I think with 28 days, do you think that that's possible that they can do that? Do you think it's possible that they're going to make this? Let me know in the comments. Talk to you later. Good luck.